Hi, in this video I'm going to demonstrate my 5-step process for foolproof wine tasting. Hi, I'm David Lo-Cicero and I'm the author of Wine 101, An Introduction to Wine and Wine Tasting. In every wine tasting room, people go through a process, and sometimes for a newcomer or a beginner in wine, it's hard to follow along. But I'm going to break it down into the 5 basic steps. Pour it, swirl it, sniff it, sip it, and repeat. So for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm pouring a Highway 12 Cabernet Sauvignon from 2019. Highway 12 is a local Sonoma winery. To taste the wine, you got to get it out of the bottle and into the glass. And so the first thing you need to do is to pour yourself just a hair. And in most tasting rooms, they will give you between a half an ounce to an ounce and a half. This looks like it's about 2 ounces, and which is a pretty healthy pour if you're going into a tasting room. It's about a half a glass of wine. And when you pour it, you want to look at the color, and you want to kind of give it a swirl like this and check and see if there's any legs. I don't worry about legs so much. That's the kind of streaks that go down the glass. Legs can be added chemically with additives later, so I don't pay attention to it too much. But the other thing you want to do is you want to look at the color and you want to look at the clarity. If there's little bits of, little flecks of dark stuff in it, that's sediment, which shows that the wine has been aged quite probably a long time and maybe wasn't filtered as well as it could have been, or that it was filtered naturally and not with some other kinds of additives. They use egg whites usually to filter the fines out of the wine. But you also want to check for little bits of cork or whatnot. So that's what you do. When you pour, you look at it. The next thing you want to do is to give it a swirl. And when you're giving it a swirl, you're helping to aerate the wine, to get more air into it, and to help it release its aromatics, the aromas. And so you give it a good swirl, like this. Get it up there. Don't be afraid. The wine isn't going to be damaged. Just stick your nose in there. And this has been open for, I don't know, 12 hours or so, because we had some last night. And it still has a good full aroma when you get your nose in there. If you're new, it's going to smell like wine. And sometimes that's all you get. And sometimes you'll get like a blast of one particular fruit or one particular flower. In this case, again, because we're drinking a Cabernet Sauvignon, you'll often get either a blast of like dark fruit or even green pepper. And green pepper is very distinctive for Cabernet Sauvignon and Cab Franc. After you've smelled it, the next thing you do is sip it. And when you sip, one thing that you want to do is don't just down it, but kind of roll it around in your mouth a little bit and engage as much of your tongue and the roof of your mouth as possible. It's okay if you look a fool while you're doing that, because what you're doing is you're getting the wine all the way in all parts of your mouth, because there are taste buds not just on your tongue, but on the roof of your mouth and down your throat. We used to think that you tasted certain tastes on certain parts of your tongue and so on. We know now that that's bollocks. It's not true, but but when you engage your whole mouth, you'll get all of the flavors. And even now, after it's been in the 30 seconds or so since I'd taken a sip, I'm starting to get a little bit of cherry as kind of an aftertaste. So it's got a long finish. Some wines, you sip them, swirl them around and swallow them, and there's no aftertaste. There's no kind of lingering flavor. In this case, it's got a nice long finish. It's sort of like dark sour cherries or something like that. The system is really simple. You pour it and look at it. You swirl it and sniff it. Then you sip it. And then, if you like it, or if you're going on to taste another wine, you repeat. Cheers. If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful or entertaining, or you want to laugh at me some more, please do subscribe or like or both.